Imagine waking up tomorrow, checking the analytics for your online business and seeing that your website traffic has suddenly, and I mean inexplicably, just flatlined to zero.
Which is, every business owner's worst nightmare.
Literally a nightmare. But not because your servers crashed, and not because you, said something controversial online and got canceled,
Right.
but because overnight, your customers simply stopped using search engines to find things. The entire highway that they used to drive down to get to your store has just been closed.
Yeah, it sounds like a tech thriller, honestly.
Yeah.
But it's the reality of what's happening right underneath our feet. The mechanics of how we find and buy things online are undergoing this seismic, almost invisible rewiring.
And that is exactly what we are getting into today. Welcome to the deep dive.
Glad to be here.
So, our mission for this deep dive is to unpack the real-time collapse of traditional online shopping strategies. We're looking at a highly provocative, really fascinating article titled SEO is Dead. AI Discovery is the New Battleground.
It's a bold title, but they back it up.
They really do. And we're going to look at what it takes to survive in a world where you, the customer, no longer search for products. You ask an AI for them. Because for the longest time, trying to sell something on the internet was, well, basically like renting a giant flashy billboard on the side of a crowded highway.
Exactly.
You painted it with the brightest colors, you threw a bunch of catchy buzzwords on it, and you just hoped that when a customer drove by at 80 miles an hour, your billboard was the one that caught their eye.
But if we look at the source material, the future of product discovery isn't a highway billboard anymore. It's more like having a hyper-rational, incredibly literal personal shopper whispering directly into your ear.
Ooh, I like that analogy.
In that personal shopper. It doesn't care how pretty your billboard is. What's crucial to understand right from the start here is that this isn't some distant theoretical future.
Right, it's not sci-fi.
No, we are not talking about a white paper prediction for 2035. This is happening right now. The tools that have already deployed their shopping infrastructures are actively changing consumer behavior today.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because before we just go and bury traditional search engine optimization entirely, I think we need to look at the body.
Fair enough.
We need to understand the decades-old foundation that this article claims is crumbling. Because if you're a marketer or a business owner, or really anyone who has tried to build a website in the last 20 years, there was basically one holy playbook for e-commerce.
Oh yeah, the old playbook. We all memorized it.
Right. You wrote keyword-rich product descriptions. You built your backlinks, which, for anyone not deep in the weeds, was essentially trying to get as many other websites as possible to link to yours.
Like a massive digital popularity contest.
Exactly. You optimized your meta tags, which are basically these invisible sticky notes attached to your website that tell Google's bots what your page is about. And then you just sat back, crossed your fingers, and waited for Google to rank your page.
And that entire playbook was built on three very specific, very rigid assumptions about human behavior.
Okay, what's the first one?
The first assumption was that the customer actually knows what they want, and more importantly, they know the exact vocabulary to type into a search box.
Right.
For example, the industry trained us to know that we shouldn't type a full sentence. We should type something robotic, like ceramic pour-over coffee dripper.
I was actually thinking about that yesterday. It is such a strange, caveman-like way to speak.
It really is.
We strip out all the context and just bark nouns at a machine.
We do, but we had to adapt to the limitations of the machine, The second assumption of the old playbook was that web pages are in a constant state of competition for a ranking on a results page.
The old page one battle.
Precisely. Google's job, traditionally, was simply to act like a librarian. You ask for a topic, and the librarian points you to an aisle with 10 books. They rank those books by relevance and authority, and your job as a merchant was to structure your page to win that fight to be book number one.
And the third assumption, and honestly as a consumer, I think this is the big one, is that the human being is the one doing all the heavy lifting.
Oh, totally.
The search engine just gives you a list of links. You, the customer, have to click 10 different links, open 10 different tabs, synthesize all the information, compare the prices across the tabs, read the conflicting reviews, and then make the final decision yourself. It is exhausting.
It's a lot of work just to buy a coffee maker.
It really is.
Yeah.
But let me push back here for a second, because whenever an article claims an entire foundational industry like SEO is dead, my alarm bells just go off.
Naturally.
Is traditional SEO actually collapsing, or are we just being dramatic? Isn't it just evolving like it always has with every new Google algorithm update?
It's a very fair question to ask.
Yeah.
The mechanics of traditional search engines, typing a query, getting blue links, those mechanics still exist. Google is still there.
Right.
But the customer behavior is shifting entirely away from relying on those mechanics. Customers are realizing they don't have to do the work of opening 10 tabs anymore.
Because why would you?
Exactly. If you have an assistant who will do the research for you, why would you do it yourself?
You just wouldn't.
Right. So relying on the 2018 Google algorithm playbook in 2026 isn't just outdated. It's a recipe for sudden, quiet invisibility.
Invisibility. Wow.
The traffic source is moving underneath merchants without them even realizing it. The librarian who just pointed to the aisle is being replaced by an expert researcher who reads all the books, synthesizes the best parts, and writes you a custom one-page report.
Which brings us to a massive shift in how we actually use these tools. Because we're refusing to do the heavy lifting of comparing 20 web pages, the platforms are morphing from static library indexes into active, highly opinionated advisors.
Yes.
And I actually noticed this myself last week. I was looking for a new coffee maker, and instead of Googling it, I just opened ChatGPT. And I realized I was talking to it completely differently than a search engine.
And that's exactly what the source text highlights. We can name the platforms dictating this new discovery phase right now.
Yeah.
ChatGPT has deep shopping integrations.
Perplexity, too, right?
Yes. Perplexity recommends specific products directly within conversational answers. Google's AI mode is actively replacing the traditional search results page for a growing number of queries.
And Microsoft Copilot.
Exactly, weaving shopping experiences right into Windows and Edge. And perhaps most significantly for anyone running an online store, Shopify launched its Agentic Storefronts feature in March of 2026.
Which is huge.
Massive. This automatically exposes every single Shopify product feed directly to these AI agents.
It's completely ubiquitous now, and it flips those three old assumptions we just talked about completely on their head. Instead of that robotic keyword search, ceramic pour-over coffee dripper, the new assumption is that customers describe their situation.
Yes, the situation is key.
When I was looking for that coffee maker, I didn't type keywords. I typed, I'm getting into specialty coffee at home. I drink 1 or 2 cups in the morning. I have a small kitchen counter, and I want something that brings out single origin flavors under $40.
Notice the difference there. It's conversational. It contains context. It contains physical constraints like counter space. And it contains budget preferences.
It's like talking to a barista.
Exactly. And the second new assumption is that the AI returns answers, not pages. The AI doesn't give you 10 blue links to kitchen appliance blogs.
Thank goodness.
Right. It says, based on your situation, your small counter, and your budget, I recommend a Hario V60 or a Kalita Wave. Both are under $40. They bring out flavor clarity, but the Hario is slightly more forgiving for a beginner.
It's a night and day difference. It's like the difference between being handed a massive, dusty warehouse catalog and being told good luck finding it versus walking into a high-end boutique and simply telling the clerk your problems.
Yes.
Like, I have this outdoor wedding, it might rain, I need these types of shoes, and they just bring you the perfect box.
This raises an important question, and it's fundamentally about trust. In the old model, the search engine was just the messenger. If you bought a bad product, you blamed the brand, not Google. Now, the AI does the deciding and synthesizing. It shifts from being a search tool to a trusted advisor. The customer trusts the AI's recommendation enough that they often don't even look for alternatives.
But just take its word for it.
They read the summary, they trust the logic, and they just click and buy the suggested product.
Which means the AI's initial recommendation is the ultimate prize. If you aren't the 1 or 2 products the AI mentions by name in that paragraph, you basically don't exist to that customer.
You're completely invisible.
There is no page 2 of Google to accidentally stumble upon anymore.
Precisely. The AI is acting on behalf of the customer, not the search engine.
But this leads to a really painful irony for a lot of merchants, according to the source text. And honestly, it's a bit of a tragedy for marketers.
There really is.
Because if the AI is acting like a hyper-rational human advisor who just wants straight, factual answers to synthesize, then all those robotic SEO tricks and poetic marketing fluff we've spent years and years perfecting, it's literally a foreign language to the AI.
It's actually worse than a foreign language. The source emphasizes that past SEO work is actively damaging a merchant's AI visibility.
Damaging it? Wait, really?
Yes. Think about those incredibly long, keyword-stuffed product descriptions we are all used to seeing when we scroll down a page. The ones written entirely to trick Google's bots into noticing them.
Oh, I hate those. They go on forever.
Right. Well, AI agents look at that and just see pure noise.
Because they process information differently.
Exactly. We have to look at the mechanism of how an AI search agent works. It doesn't crawl a page looking to count how many times you use the word coffee.
Uh-huh.
It uses something called vector matching.
Vector matching. Okay.
Yeah, it's looking for relationships between concepts and concrete data points. It tries to extract actual specifications, key value pairs like material, ceramic, from your text.
Like it's doing math.
Basically, yes.
Oh.
If your text is a giant block of prose designed to repeat a keyword 15 times, the AI struggles to extract the actual facts.
The article gives this great, highly specific example about product titles that just blew my mind. Let's say you're selling that coffee dripper, but you're a modern lifestyle brand. You want to evoke an emotion.
Sure, you want a vibe.
Right. So you name the product the Morning Ritual.
Which is brilliant for humans.
It sounds lovely. It evokes steam rising from a mug at sunrise.
But to an AI agent trying to mathematically match a user's query for a ceramic pour-over coffee dripper 2-cup, the phrase "the morning ritual" means absolutely nothing.
Nothing at all.
The AI has no concrete data to match against the query because the title doesn't literally describe the physical object.
Here's where it gets really interesting, and let me just play devil's advocate for a second. Let's put ourselves in the shoes of a business owner.
Okay.
If a merchant has spent the last 5 years, and probably tens of thousands of dollars, perfecting their brand storytelling, hiring copywriters to craft this beautiful lifestyle imagery, building their entire vibe, are you saying that is all functionally useless now? Did they just burn their money?
No, it is not useless for the human, but it is completely useless for the gatekeeper.
The gatekeeper being the AI.
Exactly. Branding, beautiful photography, and evocative storytelling are wonderful for the human consumer once they actually arrive at your page and want to feel good about their purchase.
Right.
But the AI gatekeepers cannot see vibes. It's a machine parsing structured data. If your product description focuses heavily on lifestyle imagery, but fails to explicitly state the dimensions, the materials, and the exact use case, the AI simply cannot compare your product to the alternatives.
Whoa.
And if it can't mathematically compare it, it won't recommend it.
So all those traditional SEA tactics we defined earlier, gaming the meta keywords, stuffing the image alt text with hidden phrases, building thousands of backlinks to prove you're popular, none of that helps you win over the AI.
They are almost entirely irrelevant to this new discovery process.
That is wild.
AI agents do not care how many other blogs link to your morning ritual product page. They aren't running a popularity contest. They're running a fact-matching engine. They care about explicit, verifiable data that solves the user's situation.
So if poetic marketing copy and old-school keyword stuffing are failing to impress our new AI gatekeepers, what exactly does the AI need to see? How do you actually build for an AI brain instead of a search bot?
What's fascinating here is that the AI demands something incredibly basic, almost painfully boring: structured information.
Boring is good now.
Boring is great. When a customer asks for a 2-cup ceramic pour-over for a small kitchen, the AI is internally querying its database, asking literal questions.
Like what?
Like, which products are ceramic? Which ones are pour-over drippers? Which ones hold exactly 2 cups? Which ones have a footprint smaller than 6 inches?
It's like writing a highly detailed nutritional label for a product rather than trying to paint a beautiful billboard.
That is a perfect way to look at it. The AI needs the nutritional label. It needs to know exactly what the product is, the specific category, not just the brand name. It needs to know what it's made of, the materials, the dimensions, the capacity, the weight.
All the dry stuff.
All of it. It needs to know what it does, the function, and the exact problem it solves. And it needs to know who it is for the target customer and their experience level.
And the source material actually lays out a framework for how merchants can adapt to this. And even if you're just a consumer listening to this, understanding this framework explains exactly why you're suddenly seeing different brands recommended to you online.
Yes, you'll start noticing the pattern.
It really comes down to doing a brutal audit of your own data. The first thing a business has to do is look in the mirror, or rather, look at their product data and ask, if an AI only had this text, could it confidently recommend the product?
Which means restructuring titles to be brutally literal. Like we discussed, renaming it Ceramic Pour-Over Coffee Dripper 2-Cup instead of The Morning Ritual.
Right, abandoning the poetry for the title. And then there's this emphasis on adding what the article calls boring specifications to descriptions,
Yes, the exact dimensions, the compatibility, the material makeup.
the stuff we usually skip.
Exactly. The details that human buyers often skim right over to look at the pretty pictures are the exact specific details that AI agents rely on entirely to make a match.
And here's a technical concept from the piece that I think is critical. It talks about populating Shopify meta fields. And it notes that most merchants just leave these totally blank because they're
Oh,
tedious.
they are very tedious to fill out manually.
Can you explain what a meta field actually is and why the AI cares so much about it?
Absolutely. Think of a meta field like a highly organized, behind-the-scenes filing cabinet for your product.
Okay, a filing cabinet.
When you write a paragraph of text describing a shirt, an AI has to read the whole paragraph and try to extract the fabric type. It has to guess a little.
Which takes processing power and context.
Right. But a meta field is a specific dedicated box in the database that just says material, and you type 100% cotton.
Ah, so it removes the guesswork entirely.
Exactly. It is unambiguous, structured data. AI agents absolutely love meta fields because they don't have to read prose to find the facts. It's a direct, instant read.
Makes sense.
If a customer asks for a cotton shirt, the AI checks the meta fields first. If your meta field is blank because you were too lazy to fill it out, you don't make the cut.
That makes perfect sense. The filing cabinet analogy is great. Another thing the article stresses is writing descriptive image alt text. Now, alt text was originally designed for accessibility, to describe an image to a visually impaired user, right?
That's right.
But SEO marketers used to just stuff it with keywords.
Yes, they'd name the image file best coffee maker cheap-buynow.jpg.
So elegant.
Truly. But the AI can't see the picture of your product. It relies on your textual description of the picture. If your alt text just says product image 1, the AI learns nothing.
So what should it say?
You have to explicitly describe the angle and the use case shown in the photo. Something like a top-down view of a white ceramic coffee dripper sitting on a glass carafe. That becomes searchable data for the AI.
And finally, the text emphasizes framing use cases explicitly, meaning actually writing out, this is best for beginners learning the pour-over technique.
Yes.
Because human beings express their intent as a use case, and the AI is trying to match that intent. Ultimately, the AI agents are essentially acting as commissioned salespeople for every product they have data on. If you don't equip the AI with the exact specs to sell it, it simply will not recommend it to the customer.
So knowing what data to provide is one piece of the puzzle. But the text really hammers home the sheer urgency of this shift. Because understanding this theory is great, but executing it across a catalog of hundreds or thousands of products?
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's a massive operational challenge.
It is, and the source describes our current moment as the 2010 phase of AI discovery.
Right. If you think back to when traditional SEO was basically the Wild West around 2010.
The golden age.
The merchants who took SEO seriously back then, who built the early backlinks and learned the rules, they built an unassailable position. By the time everyone else caught on in 2020, those top spots on Google were completely locked up.
The concrete had dried.
Exactly. And we are seeing that exact same first-mover advantage play out right now with AI. Because of how these models work, once an AI agent learns to confidently recommend a specific product for a category, it creates an entrenched feedback loop.
Wait, a feedback loop? How so?
Well, it trusts that product. It sees humans accept the recommendation, so it keeps recommending it. That top spot gets locked up in the AI's brain for the next 5 to 10 years.
Wow.
The window to become the default answer is open right now, but it won't be for long.
But doing this manually, going through thousands of items, rewriting them from poetic marketing into nutritional labels, filling out all those behind-the-scenes filing cabinets, while somehow still trying to keep your brand voice for the humans, that sounds like a complete nightmare for a business owner.
It's an incredible amount of work.
Which is why the source text introduces a specific automation solution called Agentic Lens.
Yes, and just objectively, looking at how it's described in the article, Agentic Lens is a tool designed specifically for this bottleneck.
What does it do?
It scans a merchant's entire Shopify catalog, and it scores the AI readiness across 5 different categories.
It essentially grades your nutritional label.
Right, and then it actually generates one-click rewrites. It automatically pulls out and structures the information the AI needs, but it maintains the brand's tone of voice so you don't sound like a robot to the human buyer.
That's wild.
The text notes that the first 10 product scores are free, which lets merchants immediately look behind the curtain and see exactly why Perplexity or ChatGPT isn't recommending them yet.
So what does this all mean? Is the future of e-commerce really just this cold, calculated race to feed structured data into the machine faster than the competition?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it means the very definition of a growth channel has fundamentally changed. The new battleground isn't fighting tooth and nail for page one on a search engine results page.
Because that page is disappearing.
Right. Look, Google still exists. People still type things in. But the dominant, rapidly growing mode of discovery is securing the confident recommendation of tools like Perplexity, ChatGPT, and Copilot. That is the new SEO.
It really is.
The winners of the next decade won't be the ones with the loudest billboards. They will be the ones who adapt to the personal shopper before their competitors even realize the game has changed.
It really is a complete rewiring of how we find the things we need. And whether you are a marketer trying to sell, an entrepreneur trying to build a business, or just a curious consumer like me who is just trying to buy a decent coffee maker without opening 20 tabs, the invisible architecture dictating what you see and what you buy has completely shifted beneath your feet.
No going back now.
The old highway billboard is fading out. The hyper-rational, incredibly literal personal shopper is here, and it's making the decisions. Which leaves us with a pretty massive, almost philosophical question to ponder as we wrap up.
Oh, I'm ready.
If AI is now doing all the synthesis and making the final choice based entirely on raw, structured data, dimensions, and literal specifications, what happens to brand loyalty?
That is the million-dollar question.
Right. In a few years, will you find yourself happily buying products from brands you've never even heard of simply because the AI calculated that their dimensions and materials were a mathematically perfect match for your life? Will the quiet, hyperlogical whisper of the AI completely drown out the millions of dollars spent on the flashy billboard?
It's a fascinating thought.
Something to think about the next time you ask a screen for a recommendation. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
Thanks for listening.